Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, I hope that you will like and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my future videos. And today we're going to be talking about some modifications that I've been doing to my 2023 Kawasaki Ninja ZX25R. And of those of you who are not familiar with this bike, they do not sell these all over the world. They're only in a few markets. I am currently living here in the Philippines, and it is bike that is marketed here in this area. These are not available in the United States. They are a kind of a special breed bike. It is a 4-cylinder 250cc bike that it has extremely high rev. That's like 22,000 RPMs. So this bike has very long gears, but we're gonna do some stuff to change that a little bit. So I'm kind of setting this bike up to be more of a stunt bike. So I've actually been making some modifications for that, and I'll get into some of the stuff I've already done and some of the stuff I'm going to be doing so that you guys have an idea of what I'm going to be working on here. So first of all, let's talk about what I've already done. So I have changed the front sprocket on this. Currently, the original was a 14-tooth sprocket, and I changed it to a 13-tooth sprocket. And I'm also going to be changing the rear sprocket to a larger sprocket. So the original is a 50-tooth, and I've ordered two. I've got a 52-tooth coming and a 54-tooth coming. So the 52 I'll be putting on anytime that we go for long rides, and the 54 will be for when doing more stunts and stuff like that. So just to kind of give you an idea of where things are, so if you look at the bike here, this behind this cover right here is where the front sprocket sits, and that's the one that I've already switched out with a 13 tooth, and like I said, the original was a 14. And then this rear sprocket back here, as you can see, is going to be getting swapped out as soon as my new sprockets get here. And I've also got a new chain because changing the rear sprocket is going to be too big for the factory chain here. So that's the first set of modifications that I'm going to do there. Now we're going to talk about something that's a little bit more important that a lot of people that have this bike have probably noticed, and that's the fact that this bike, because of its high rev capabilities, runs extremely hot, high temperatures. So we have been doing some modifications, and I'm going to do some more modifications today to work on that. So the first one I'm going to show you is this little switch right here. So that's going to be a fan modification. So the factory fan on this does not kick on at a very low temperature. It kicks on at a pretty high temperature, which is one of the leading causes to this bike riding at such high temperatures. So that switch is a manual fan override, and they do not make it specifically for this bike. However, the Ninja ZX4RR is identical in most ways, except for, of course, the displacement of the engine. But everything else is pretty much identical. So if you're looking for parts for this bike, that's your best route, is to be searching for the ZX4RR. Now that is where I found this. It's a plug and play switch, so it doesn't change anything with the computer or anything like that. It's a direct plug-in, and I'll show you here in a second where that goes. As far as the sprockets, that's also, I had to order those for a ZX4RR. And they are coming to here from the United States because they're extremely difficult to find oversized sprockets. The undersized sprocket actually came from Thailand for the front, and that's a little bit easier to find, but the rear sprockets for larger ones is very difficult to locate for here in the Philippines where I'm at. But yeah, the ZX4RR and the ZX25R are basically the same bike as far as any modifications go. If you want to go bigger radiators, stuff like that, ZX4RR parts will all fit directly in place of the stuff from this bike. So I'm going to show you where this fan switch modification goes. So in order to access this, it's actually pretty easy. You're going to remove the rear seat cowl on here, And then once you've done that, you remove the front seat, which is very easy on this bike compared to most. You're going to pull that out and get that out of the way. And then if you look right here, you've got a box down there. You can see that. This one over here is the plug and play switch that'll come with the new fan, the fan switch. So you'll just unplug the old one from here, plug the new one in here, and then plug the old one, or the old one that came out of this, into the junction box there. And then it gives you a long lead. You'll just run that. So you can see I had a lot left over here, but I ran it up the side here underneath this plastic, and then this stuff back out of the way here, and then ran it up to here. I drilled a hole here and drilled a little hole here for the light to let you know that it's on, and that's it. So I'll show you how simple this works. Anytime that you have the bike turned on, you simply flip the switch and you get a fan kick on. So now you can, if you choose to, run that fan all the time, which is what I actually do because it's pretty hot here in the Philippines. I just leave it on, so anytime the bike's on, the fan's running. It can make your fan potentially not last as long because the fan's not typically on all the time, but it helps the bike run a lot cooler. Even at highway speeds, it actually helps a lot because it pulls a lot of the moving air directly through the radiator, as opposed to it going around depending on how you're leaning and stuff into corners or whatever it is that you're doing. So that actually helps quite a bit. So then the next thing that we're going to do, I've got a new silicone radiator hose kit here I'm going to be installing today. And then we're also going to change the coolant out to something a little bit better than the factory stuff. So I've got some water wetter here, and I've got some MotoCool factory line organic coolant that should actually help this run a lot cooler as well. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. Now, depending on where you're at and what kind of access you have to stuff, there are better coolants out there, the best being the Engine Ice, and they do sell a Engine Ice Pure Performance that's made specifically for street bikes and for like doing stunts and stuff like that, because you're going to be running a lot higher RPMs occasionally. So that stuff is better. However, I did not have access to it here, and actually at the time I was trying to locate some coolant for this bike, the actual Engine Ice website, they're all sold out of the Pure Performance, so I couldn't even order it from the United States. So but that is the best option if you're going to run something, if you have access to it. If not, what I got is going to be a good secondary option, and it's super easy to get here in the Philippines. So that's what I'm going to be working on today, is swapping out the coolant, swapping out the radiator hoses. I also do have a bigger radiator cap. The radiator cap that comes factory on this bike is a 1.1 bar cap, and I'm going to be switching that to a 1.3. I don't have it to show you yet. It's getting delivered today, so as soon as I get that later, we'll show that to you. But that's what we're going to be working on to try to get this bike to run at a lot cooler temperatures when we're doing stunts and stuff, so that it doesn't cause any problems for the bike.
Ooh, you wanna come and get me, kick me down and make me hurt myself. Oh no, you will never forget me. I'm imprinted on your heart, I swear. At times you make me angry, but I know that it could always be worse, be worse, be worse. Baby, baby, now I'm trying to forget you. Baby, I know everything that was about you. No, I'm joking, I'm looking for the bathroom. Round and round, yeah, round and round we go. Picture perfect, but so many flaws that stopped you. I don't wanna ever see you in the same room. I open up and then you hit on all my issues. Round and round.
So you can get a better view here. There's a screw that goes in here. You've got one here. And if you look at the back side here, you've got a screw that goes in up here. And then the rest of these are all little pop push pins, so you just push in the center and then pull it out. Very easy.
We go, we go!
Same thing with the other side. Got a screw that goes in here, one that goes in up here, one that goes in down here, and then the rest are all those push pins.
Round and around we go. Didn't think you would ever believe.
Screw here, screw here, screw here. And then you gotta undo the screws up top, these three, and then push pins here, which came out earlier with the center cover.
Now I see your colors, now they're in my dreams. Do I need a touch or do I just need?
And the same thing for the other side. You got a screw that goes in up here. You got the 1, 2, 3 up here at the top. And you got one down here. And then the push pins that came out earlier. Screw right here also.
Cause I've been up for almost 3 weeks. Oh, you think you got to me? All you did was use me. Round and round we go. We go. Baby, baby, now I'm trying to forget you. Baby, I know everything that was about you. Now I'm joking, I'm looking for the bathroom. Round and around, yeah, round and around we go. Picture perfect, but so many flaws that stopped you. I don't wanna ever see you in the same room. I'd open up and then you head on all my issues. Round and around we go. We go.
Now that I've got all the covers off, let me show you guys what you'll be looking at here. So we're going to be replacing the radiator hoses, which is going to be this hose here, this hose here, and then we've got one on the other side. It's going to be this hose right here. So there's where your radiator cap sits. So when you're draining the coolant, you're going to want to pull the radiator cap off of here. And then of course your overflow bottle sits right here, and that's in that position. So the best way to drain it is to pull off this. So you've got a pinch clip here, you just pinch this together and then slide it back, and then you can pull the radiator hose right off of there. And all your other clips are going to be the same. We're going to be replacing those with a different kind of clip. They're much easier to mess with.
Round and round, yeah, round and round we go. Picture perfect, but so many flaws
So as you can see, we've got the new radiator hoses on there. I currently have the radiator pulled off because I'm going to clean it out real good before I put everything back together, just to make sure everything's nice and clean. But that's how it's going to look right there. Alright, so got the radiator back in there, as you can see. And I've got the new hoses on. Got everything all cleaned up the way I want it. Got a reservoir back on. There's our other new hose. So this is what I was talking about with the radiator caps. So this is the factory one. As you can see, it's a 1.1 bar. And we're going to be replacing it with a 1.3 bar. It's kind of hard to see, but it's underneath the 127 kPa there. It's 1.3 bar. So we're going to be putting that on there. Now, when you're filling back up the coolant, the most important thing is that you make sure you get it bled properly. So the easiest way to do that without making a mess and losing any of your new coolant is you're gonna put your coolant in here, and you're gonna want to fill that until it's about halfway up this side of the radiator. So once you do that, you're going to start your bike and you're going to let it idle. If you've got the manual fan switch like I've got there, you're going to want to turn that off so you can let the bike run regularly. And you're going to want it to get up to temperature at least a couple of times. And while it's doing that, you're going to want to grab a hold of the bike and you're going to want to rock it back and forth just gently. And that's going to help get any air bubbles out of the system. Because if you don't get it bled properly and you just fill it up and seal it off and put it back together, you run risks of overheating, popping head gaskets, crazy stuff like that. So you don't want to do that. So that's the most important part when you're doing all this, is you want to make sure that you get it bled properly. I've already had it running for probably 15-20 minutes. I let it cycle like 5 or 6 times just to make sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill back up the radiator all the way. And then I'm going to fill up the coolant reservoir there, put the cap back on, and put it all back together. So there you go, everybody. That's going to be all of our updates for today, and I'll get back with you when we do this rear sprocket update over here, when we get our bigger sprocket on the back, so that we can do wheelies easier and stunts easier on this bike. So, but that's pretty much everything simple that you can do, aside from replacing the radiator itself, or replacing the very tiny fan, which I saw when I got it all pulled apart. There's a very tiny radiator fan back there. You can replace that. There is not any direct bolt-on aftermarkets for that. So anything that you buy is going to be a universal, and you're going to have to do your own modifications for that. So there you go. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll show this to you when I get it all put back together. So as you can see, we've got the bike all back together now. We've got our new radiator hose on this side in place. Got our new radiator hoses on this side in place. And she's all back together. And runs much, much cooler than it did before.